So this question is asking us to work with factorising and expanding and simplifying expressions. So let's have a quick look at the first part. It wants us to factorise 5x take away 10. Factorising is about putting things back into bracket form, and we look for common factors to allow us to do that. If an expression has no common factors, then it tends to be telling you to do things in two brackets. This one does have a common factor. It has 5 goes into 5 and 5 goes into 10. So this basically will be 5 on the outside of the bracket. And whatever I multiply 5 by to give me 5x take away 10 goes inside the bracket. So divide that by 5, we get x. Divide that by 5, we get 2. And the original expression had a takeaway there, so we're going to put a takeaway. So factorising, you're looking for the highest common factor of the terms outside the bracket, and whatever that is, then you divide through each term by that factor, and that will leave you what goes inside the bracket itself. Now the check is to expand, so in your mind you should be thinking 5 times the x, 5x, and 5 times the negative 2 there is negative 10. So we can see we've got 5x take away 10. So the answer 5 bracket x take away 2. This one talks about factorising again. So we look at the terms of the expression and we can see there is a common factor to both terms. So that's again telling us that this is going to be a single bracket factorisation. So we know that we need to have a bracket, and on the outside of the bracket we need the highest common factor. So we go through each of these terms looking at what the highest common factors are. So we can see from the numbers, or the coefficients 2 and 4, that the highest common factor is 2 for the numbers, so we can put a 2 there. Then we look at the letter terms, so we've got a p squared and a p. Well, we should remember that p squared is made by doing p times p. So there's a p out of there and there's a p there. So 2p becomes the highest common factor. There is a q here, but there wasn't a q in this term. So therefore, we'd be saying that 2p must be the only factor that goes into both of these. So inside the bracket, we're going to divide each of these terms by 2p. And we can see here that 2p squared divided by 2p would leave us with a p. 4 divided by 2 leaves me with 2. P divided by p is 1, so we don't need a p in here. But there is a q there, so we do need a q. Take away, take away. Check by multiplying back out. So 2p times p is 2p squared. 2p times 2 is 4p. And there's a q as well, so it's 4pq. Now, an alternative method, if you don't particularly like that one, is to rewrite the expressions that are given to you in full, putting all the multiplication symbols back in. Then go through deciding what are the common factors. So 2 is a common factor, so we can divide through both of these by 2. P is a common factor, so we can put the P. Q is not in both, but what we can see is what is left now is a P from here, a takeaway sign, a 2, and a Q. So there's lots of ways of doing these factorizations. Sometimes it's easier just to write the whole thing out, putting all the time signs back in, simplifying everything down as far as you can. So I didn't write p squared there. I wrote down exactly what it meant. P squared meant p times p, and then going through each of these, deciding what the common factors are, put them outside, and then what was left in this goes inside the bracket. So the answer here, 2p bracket p take away 2q. Okay, so the next part of this is talking about expanding and simplifying a double bracket. Again, lots of ways of doing this. Some of you guys might have been taught a skill called FOIL. Personally, I go for a grid. It's lots of different ways. As long as you get the right answers, guys, it doesn't matter. So the grid's telling me to put the first bracket on the top and the second bracket down the bottom. There's going to be 4 calculations to do, so we end up doing t times t, t squared, t times 5, 5t's, negative 4 times t is negative 4t, and negative 4 times 5 is going to be negative 20. We always look in here to see whether there's any common terms which can come together. So here we've got 5t's, take away 4t's. So let's just write it out in full so we can see what we're doing. So we've got from this grid t squared plus 5t, take away 4t, take away 20. And the 5t take away the 4t can be simplified down. So our final answer will be a t squared. 5t's take away 4t's is 1t, but remember, don't write the t, the 1. And then we've got the take away 20. So that does mean 1t. But it says write it simply, because simplify, so we don't write the number 1 in front of there. So that's a quick review of factorising, expanding and simplifying expressions. If there's common factors to all the terms, single bracket factorisation, and expand and simplify, lots of different ways. Double brackets, when you've got double brackets, use the grid or foil.